Good morning, sunshine. Sierra here and welcome back to my channel. You probably clicked on this video because you're looking for ideas for gender reveal cakes, right? Well, you're in luck because in this video I'm going to show you how to make this super cute gender reveal cake. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you're notified when I upload my next video. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's go. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is put some buttercream on our board to secure our cake to this cake board. Alright, once we have this nice and centered, we're going to pipe a dam or a border around the outer part of this. Once we pipe this dam, we're going to fill our layer with our pink buttercream. Now we smooth it out. We're going to do the same exact thing with the next layer. Then we're going to place the last cake layer right on top, making sure this cake is nice and level. The next thing that we're going to do is crumb coat this cake. That way we seal in all of these loose crumbs. We really want to make sure that the pink doesn't show anywhere on the cake board or on the cake in the little grooves of your cake board if you have some. So we're going to clean up our board with just a paper towel, making sure that we get all of that pink buttercream off. And then we're going to place it into the freezer so our crumb coat gets nice and solid. That way, no color leaks into the outer coat of our buttercream. Alright, our crumb coat is solid, so we're going to apply our outer coat of buttercream. So I like to use a piping bag, that way I know the thickness of my buttercream and I can get it consistent all around the whole entire cake. And once we've applied that buttercream, we're just going to use our bench scraper and smooth out the sides. So I'm actually switching to a taller bench scraper, that way I can get a nice clean finish on this cake. Alrighty, and I'm happy with I'm happy with the Now I'm happy with this outer coat, however I do have a little lip of buttercream that's going up on the sides of my cake. So I'm going to put this back in the freezer for like 5 to 10 minutes and then I'm going to use a very sharp knife to trim this excess off. That way we get a nice and clean edge on our cake. Alright, so now that our buttercream is super solid, I'm going to take a sharp knife. Here I'm using an X-Acto blade, but you can use any sharp knife that you have. Just make sure that it's clean and it's washed. And you're going to make the blade parallel to the cake. And you're going to cut off about 2 to 3 inches at a time. You can go all the way around the cake in one sweep, but you do run the risk of dropping these little bits of buttercream and possibly leaving an impression on your nicely outer coat of buttercream. then we can also use our bench scraper and just scrape the edge of the cake in, just to kind of clean it up. And that's how you get a super sharp edge on your cake. And now I'm going to pop this back into our freezer until our white chocolate ganache is ready. So I have 2 piping bags, one with pink white chocolate ganache, and then I have blue chocolate ganache. Alright, so I started with a 50-50 ratio, so that's 1 part of chocolate, white chocolate, and 1 part of heavy cream. And my drips were a little too thin, so I added just a few more of those white chocolate chips and melted it down and let it sit. That way my ganache was a little thicker. So since this is a gender reveal cake, I just drew a line down the center of the cake with my pink ganache. That way I could split it equally between the pink and the blue, but right here I am evening out the top layer of that ganache. That way I can start the drips. And I know it's hard to see, but it's easier for me to apply the drips on the side of the cake that's closest to me, so you can't really see how I'm dripping it. But basically I'm just squeezing the piping bag just a little to let the drips fall down the cake nicely. And I'm using consistent, even pressure to make those drips fall nicely down the cake. And now I'm going to do the same thing with my blue ganache. Alright, so our ganache is pretty much set. We're going to add all of the cake toppings now. So I'm going to add my Oh Baby cake topper. That's going to go first. And then I'm going to start covering and filling the empty spaces with buttercream and my macarons. So that's it for the pink, I believe. And now we're going to do the same thing with the blue. Just fill in any of those empty gaps that you see. And I'm not too sure what happened to the rest of this video, but this is how I made the gender reveal cake. If you like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day. God bless.